Thank you, Dave, for that very nice introduction. I really feel humbled to be joining this distinguished group consisting of you as the first award winner, and then we had the Lee Parish family, and then we had Joel and Marilyn Schmidt, and finally Pat Carruthers. So that's quite a formidable group to join, and I very much appreciate it. There probably aren't many people around who knew each of the founding members of the foundation. However, my wife Sarah and I knew each one pretty well. For example, Bill Wolf, the one of the big donors, lived across the street from us in Arbor Court. And he knew we played bridge, but he and his wife Jean didn't think we played very well. So they consented to have us bridge with them periodically. And I'll never forget Bill telling us, "Don't forget to count your trump," which we tried never to do. And then Hunt Parrish, he wasn't too far from us. He was our lawyer. And he was also our neighbor at Walloon Lake, Michigan, where our two families are still neighbors up there. And then there was Fred Reister and I were on the Lane Library Board together for several years, and he became a very good friend, and I admired him very much for what he contributed to the city of Hamilton and being a part of the foundation of the Community Foundation. Cy Fitton was the head of the firm of attorneys that handled all of our legal work, and so I knew Cy in a business way quite well. And Bill Merstein belonged to a club that we joined sort of accidentally. Sarah's mother, her aunt and uncle were members of this club, the name of which I can't remember, but it was supposedly the oldest club in Hamilton, and the guy got to know Bill through that, and he and Otis Briggs took a trip very early in the history of Israel to Jerusalem. And I'll never forget when he came back with Otis and they told us the experience they had in that little country surrounded by millions of people of a different faith. So that was very interesting. And Otis, of course, was the director of the Community Chest, which later became United Way, and he was, I'm sure, a strong influence in getting the Hamilton Community Foundation started. And I think that leaves me with one more, Robert Sanjan. Now, he was very special in our lives. He had been a captain in the Army in World War I and served in France. And I had, when the war started, Pearl Harbor, I thought I better get in there like all young people my age wanted to do. So I applied for the Army Air Force and passed everything, thought I was on my way to becoming a pilot or something until I took the color test, the physical test, and I'm colorblind. So I tried that, didn't work, and then I tried the Navy, didn't work, got through them all to the point of the color test, So I decided, oh, the heck with it, I'll just wait and be drafted, which I was. So after the basic training, there was a program set up by the government called ASTP, American Army Specialized Training Service. And in that program, they gave an Army test, and if you had a certain score, a little higher than becoming an officer grade, you were sent to college. And after basic training, I was sent to Pratt Institute of Science and Technology in Brooklyn, New York. And I knew at the end of that time I would get a furlough in June. So Sarah Soniker, my fiance, and I planned a June wedding. Well, they found out that that was a very discriminatory program the government had. They're taking some of the boys who passed well on the tests and letting them go free education a college or university, and the fellows who didn't get that higher test, off they go to replace the killed and wounded. Well, that wasn't fair, and rightfully so, it was discontinued. So here I am at Pratt Institute with a June wedding scheduled, and I know I'm not going to be available in June. I'm going to be headed for an infantry regiment or infantry division somewhere. Well, all of a sudden, I'm called into the commanding officer at Pratt Institute to report to him. So I go in to see the commanding officer, salute him, stand at rigid attention, and he said, "Marcum, who in the hell do you know?" I said, "Sir, I don't know what you mean." He said, "Well, you've been assigned by the War Department to report to Hamilton, Ohio for 7 days temporary duty and then get back here." So on March the 7th, we had a wedding in Hamilton, Ohio, and we just this year celebrated our 70th wedding anniversary. So Bob Sanjan always has held a tender spot in our memory. Well, what had happened, Bob Sanjan was called Cappy because he'd been a captain, and he had a friend from the First World War that was in the Pentagon, still in the service, and he called that fellow and said, "I want you to help a kid that's out in Brooklyn and was scheduled to get married. Can you do something about it?" And that's how I happened to get temporary duty in Hamilton, Ohio. So I knew those gentlemen that were so visionary and had strong social consciences, and that started this wonderful Hamilton Community Foundation. And I'm very proud to receive the David L. Ballou Legacy Award, and appreciate it very much. And I wish these founding men could see it today, where it spends $1 million sending needy kids to their college or university and many other good things. And they're revitalizing the city of Hamilton, which we're all for. So thanks again, Dave.